Okay, I think we're ready to get started then. I'll go ahead and introduce myself again in case you joined us in the last second or so. My name is Amy Von Kanel, and I am the CEO and founder of VolunteerCrowd. I'm really happy to have everyone here today and welcome you to our 2021 kickoff for STEM internships. And VolunteerCrowd, in case you're not familiar with us, we find academic related volunteer opportunities for students, and then we help you build an incredibly impressive transcript so that you can really stand out to colleges and someday employers. And even in between, you can use it for scholarship applications, your National Honor Society honors submission, and also internship applications. So I'll go ahead and share my screen real quick. All right. And I'm joined by a really great group here. First of all, we've got Megan Thomas, our Volunteer Success Manager. Megan is not only a member of VolunteerCrowd, but she is also a teacher at Irving Independent School District. We've got Jose Rivera, a volunteer coordinator from TGR Foundation, TGR meaning Tiger Woods Foundation, of course. And Andrea Ballo, Andrea, I've got to practice your name, the executive director from STEMi. Oh goodness, we've got somebody coloring on my on my presentation. And then Amanda Horn, our program manager from College Advisor. Welcome everyone. I want to make sure everyone gets the most from today. So just a reminder, all of the opportunities that we're going to discuss today are on VolunteerCrowd. And so you'll get a lot of really great details today, but you won't necessarily get every single detail. So we like to encourage you right now to go to volunteercrowd.com, download the app, sign up, so that after this event, we can send you an email with links to all of these projects that we're talking about, and you can go ahead and sign up and get all of the contact information. And then we want you to just sit back, relax, and learn from our guest speakers at TGR Foundation and STEMi. There's a lot we have to share, and it's about what you can do and how you can grow and get ready for college and career. At the end, have your questions ready and ask us anything, literally anything. We've heard it all, and we hope to hear something new today. And then, of course, plan. We've got our friends and co-hosts, College Advisor, here today to talk to you about how volunteering is part of a holistic admissions application. And we know volunteering backward and forward, but it's College Advisor who tells you how to put it all together and really be prepared for that first time you submit your college application. All right, well, I'm going to turn it over right now to Megan Thomas, our Volunteer Success Manager, and she's going to tell you all about VolunteerCrowd.
Hi guys, welcome. So again, my name is Megan Thomas and I am an educator. I am the Volunteer Success Manager, for VolunteerCrowd. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our app. With the VolunteerCrowd app, you can find, schedule, and track volunteer service projects. This is just what you need in this digital age. You will be able to find projects in your area locally, or you can even find virtual projects that you can participate in all over the US. You can also search for projects in different cause areas. So we have about 20 different cause areas that you can filter your searches in that will help build your resume for your future career. You can also be able to find projects for your families, or maybe you're in a club or organization at your school. You can filter searches in the VolunteerCrowd app so that you'll be able to find opportunities, not just for you, but for all of your friends and your family. It is an Apple app, so you can download it in the Apple Store. And this app will help you build your volunteer transcript, which when we get the slides back up, Amy, we can show you. Of
course. Having a little technical difficulties here today, but go ahead, Megan, keep talking.
That's okay. So when you are tracking your hours, you can sign on to our premium feature, which will be our transcript, which is very cool because paper and pencil It's out of the door. Nobody's tracking hours and paper and pencil. And of course, you'll be able to lose those papers, and then you'll be trying to scramble, trying to find or get your advisors and your counselors to recertify those hours. So you can track it straight through the app. And when you're verifying your projects, organizations will be able to endorse different character skills that will be placed on your transcript. This is extremely important because colleges are becoming test optional now. So you need something that's going to allow you to stick out, stand out, and label you as cream of the crop. And this is exactly what you need. And also with those character skills, you'll have different badges that will endorse you along with the total number of hours that you have volunteered in your community and in the different cause areas. So it's going to be very, very important for you when you get to college, because colleges love to see what you have done to stick out, just besides the different academic things you have going on at school. So volunteering and giving back to the community is always going to be number one. And it's very, very important because, like I said, colleges are becoming test optional. So you need another way that is going to stick out. And don't just think of volunteering as, oh, I need to volunteer to get these hours. When you volunteer, I promise you, you will become passionate about it, because you'll see the different community members just love you and embrace you because you are taking time out of your schedule to give back to them. So that's a little bit about the app and our volunteer transcript. So I think I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Rivera.
Thank you, thank you. So hello everyone, my name is Jose Rivera, and I actually serve as a volunteer coordinator at the TGR Foundation, especially at the TGR Learning Lab in Anaheim, California. Today I would just like to share with you a little bit more about our upcoming volunteer opportunity. But first let me introduce you a little bit more to our foundation and our programs. So for nearly 25 years, TGR Foundation has been redefining what it means to be a champion. We have a vision of a world where opportunity is universal and potential is limitless. So our mission is empowering students to pursue their passions through education. And the great thing about our programs is that we have been able to guide students to their current pathways by fostering a sense of belonging, creativity, and doing it all by enjoying the journey as well. So at the TGR Foundation, our work is guided through 5 different values. We have start with passion, own it, create synergy, drive change, and embrace diversity. Through our work, we have been able to serve and impact students and only offer our best to make sure that we are doing what we can for students and the community as well. So on our next slide, you might be wondering, so what exactly do we do? And that's okay to answer. I know to ask. I know that a lot of people are probably wondering exactly. So the TGR Learning Lab actually offers after school, in-school, virtual, and summer classes for students in grades 5 through 12. So the TGR Learning Lab allows students to discover personal interests, develop self-confidence, and strengthen academic skills. And to best reach our students, we actually have multiple learning labs around the country. So we have our flagship location in Anaheim, California, which is our main one that we started back in 2006, which houses 8 smart classrooms, a state-of-the-art makerspace, and a theater-style auditorium, as well as a very large putting green for students to kind of learn about golf and play golf while they're there as well. I mean, Tiger Woods, of course, we would have the golf arena as well. But we also have our satellite locations in Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., South Florida, and the Marine Corps Base in Quantico, Virginia, to offer students on the East Coast and around the country different opportunities to have the same access to programs and learn about what they can do with their STEM skills and what they can do from there as well. So our main objectives is to connect learning to career preparation. We like to ensure that students are learning the STEM objectives, but we also want them to understand and experience how to apply them to the real world and in their future careers. This allows students to gain interest in what they are learning about and give them an opportunity to think more about what they would like to pursue in their futures. So some of the classes that we have offered in the past for students include video game design, nutrition and fitness, wearable technology, graphic design, marine biology, robotics, aerospace engineering, computer science, and many more. We have over 50 plus areas of study in STEM and college access and building workshop skills as well. And we continue to evolve our curriculum to make sure that we're up to date with what students want to learn, as well as what is going in the STEM field, as well in the career field as well, so that students are getting only the best and the most up-to-date learning as well. So for winter 2021 programs, we actually are offering graphic design, sports science, computer science, graphology, exploring biomedical careers, and web design as well to students in grades 7 to 12. And another great aspect about our programs is that they're actually completely free to all students. So we want to ensure that these opportunities are accessible to students. And this has actually allowed us to serve more than 175,000 students since the start of the TGR Learning Lab. And we strive to continue serving more, because as long as we're impacting students' lives and we're continuing that mission, that's all that matters to our foundation and our Learning Lab as well. So on our next slide, we're actually going to be talking about the virtual volunteer opportunity that we have coming up. So the one that we're promoting at the moment is the TGR Learning Lab, which is the virtual volunteer. So on our next slide, yes, thank you. We're actually talking about our volunteers to help in our virtual after school classes for students in grades 6 to 12. So our volunteers actually play an essential role in the virtual classroom by enhancing learning outcomes. And some of the responsibilities include student supervision, technology support, and answering student questions. This opportunity is perfect for individuals who are interested in learning how STEM learning is occurring in the virtual world and how hands-on learning has been adapted when in-person learning isn't available. So our past volunteers have reported to enjoy their experiences, enjoying working with students, learning themselves, and then also gaining experience in a STEM-related environment and being able to help make a difference. The requirements we actually currently have are that applicants must be at least 16 years of age, must complete an application, must complete 5 to 10 hours a week, and must have a computer or device with internet access and a functioning webcam or microphone, so that we can make sure that you're able to be present in the Zoom classroom as well. The actual great thing about this opportunity is that it's actually still fairly new. Before the stay-at-home orders, especially here in Anaheim and California, everything was in person, and the only people that actually had access to their volunteer program and be able to be a part of it were those that were near the actual TGR Learning Lab and had the opportunity to actually get there and volunteer. However, with the actual new opportunity, we've actually been able to see participants from all over the country, widening the way that we have our volunteer program set up. So we've been able to have volunteers from Washington, D.C., Florida, New York, and they've been able to work with us synchronously in their classrooms, even with the time changes, because we've been able to kind of work around the schedules and have that through the virtual space. And then, as I mentioned before, the volunteers have stated that their experience has been nothing but pleasant. So they have noted that the staff are easy to work with and are understanding of situations that may come up. They have noted that working alongside students has been an incredible experience because it has allowed them to learn more about how STEM skills are taught to younger students in a fun and hands-on way. So we are actually also currently wrapping up the planning of our virtual day program, which is an immersive experience to students in 5th grade. We will update this listing with VolunteerCrowd once the details are finalized. So if this opportunity is something that interests you, but it might not work out yet, we also have another one coming up, which we will update with VolunteerCrowd, so you can keep an eye out for that in case you would like to volunteer with us later on as well. So if working with students in a STEM related field and programs is something that interests you, or if you would like an application, please check out VolunteerCrowd. They have the listing there. You can check out more information as well on our website. And we are currently accepting applications, but we do have limited spots open. So please submit soon as possible if you are interested, since our programs do begin in January after the winter break. So thank you everyone for your time, and best of luck to all of you while you pursue your applications and your experiences. And I will pass it out. I would pass it now to Andrea Balo with STEMi.
Thank you. And it's really wonderful to hear about your program. It's really exciting to see all the stuff that you all are doing. So from my perspective, I think it's great learning about new programs. So hi to everybody. I'm Andrea Balo. I'm the Executive Director for STEMi Youth Career Development Program. We are a small nonprofit that is headquartered in Houston, Texas, but because of COVID, it has also allowed us to become more virtual and digital, which has been great. And therefore, we have volunteers also nationally, and we have some international programming as well. So STEMi Youth Career Development Program, our ultimate goal is to educate, impassion, and embolden youth in the exploration of entrepreneurship and business careers. And to think of it, we do cover a lot of hard skills, but it's more about career development. It's more about understanding and developing professional and technical skills that allow you to be successful in the future. And that's why it's such an interesting combination, bringing together STEM and entrepreneurship and business, with the realization that if you are comfortable with STEM and innovation and teaching yourself critical thinking, all the necessary basic critical thinking skills and professional skills, that you will be successful in any pursuit, any career pursuit that you have. And so that's kind of our ultimate goal. Our mission, as I mentioned, we are global, so it's to globally educate youth in critical skills and professional development using STEAM and entrepreneurship for students' future. And we envision a world where all students have global access and exposure to the necessary skills and education. So how do we do that? Well, prior to COVID, we had a lot of in-person events, boot camps, workshops, speaking engagements, student fairs, things of that nature. But now with COVID, we've been transitioning all of our activities online. And so with that in mind, what we are looking to do is involve students in that endeavor. And we love to have students from volunteering from middle school and high school on to all of our different opportunities. So far, STEMi has, with our various different events, impacted over 1,000 students. We're just under 3 years old. Like I mentioned, we're small and we're young, but we've had over 30 events within the Houston area. And now we're hoping to reach nationally with our digital events. For our interns, we offer resume bolstering professional positions. So it's not just opportunities for you to learn skills. You really take on a role and you work with the other students in a team to really help manage and run the company. And we teach you how to run companies. Again, that's hinging on, teaching you entrepreneurship and business. So these positions are personalized, dedicated projects. We make sure that you have a project that you're interested in that really meets your passions and something that you can gain results from and really see an impact, not only on STEMi, but on the greater good on the students that we're impacting as well. For college and career pathways, our students often pursue STEM, as you would expect, but also a lot of medicine majors and careers. In fact, usually for our students, you do have the typical success stories where they go off and they finally figured out which pathway they want to pursue, and they pursue that for majors and careers. But what I find most interesting about our program is we've been able to connect a lot of students to top-notch scientists and engineers to establish some internship opportunities that are not really publicly available. They've made those connections and they've set up those private internship opportunities with top-notch entrepreneurs, scientists, etc. We've also had some of our students who've gone through our entrepreneurship program compete in startup competitions. And I've also mentored, and our program has helped develop several startup and nonprofit organizations that have come out of STEMi. This has been pretty successful. Next slide. And so what we're looking for in terms of today, when y'all are thinking about what sort of internship opportunities you might want to pursue, we have just a plethora of opportunities. This is just a small list of some of them, although if you can dream it up, we can make it happen. So our top initial opportunities are social media interns. We have a small group of students at the moment who are social media marketers. And so we train you in marketing, and then you work on not only your social media marketing. It sounds, oh, you just post? No, it's not. It's true full business marketing. We teach you the jargon. We teach you how to do Google Ads and analytics, website search engine optimization, which impacts blog, newsletter, magazine writing, which we have as part of our program, YouTube, podcasts, which we're also doing. We interview a lot of business top-notch individuals, and customer surveys, as well as graphic design all throughout our website. So all of those things, if you're interested in any one of them, we'll teach you how to do it, and then you implement those skills as an intern for our program. We also have STEM, medical, and entrepreneurship event mentors. So through our digital events, if you are interested in working with students directly, we will train you as a mentor in our various different events. Our upcoming events are our 3-day entrepreneur startup workshop, our space settlement design competition, entrepreneur competition. We have investments with stocks, and then computer programming, as well as engineering. So if those interest you at all, then we will come and train you on our hands-on activities, and then you help during our virtual breakout sessions. We're also looking for STEM app website programmers. Again, we'll train you in building apps, and then you can help us build, take STEMi basically online with building STEMi programs. We have a new program we're developing, which is STEMi tutoring program. And we have a lot of students, again, who are affected by COVID and the digital divide. And so you would be working with us. We'll train you how to tutor other students, and then help you be able to reach out in your local community virtually. And then finally, student ambassadors. So if you are really passionate about one particular topic and you want to take that further and beyond, we can work with you to start either a STEMi club or, again, a company, whether that's a nonprofit organization or for-profit, and help you build that out in your local community. So yeah, let me know if y'all are interested. As far as connecting further, just make sure that you reach out to VolunteerCrowd. We again take students middle school and high school. Time commitment can be anywhere from 1 to 5 hours typically per week. And from there, it's more just about what you're passionate about, and we'll work with you from there. Thank you. And then I believe I am passing it off to Amanda Horn.
Yes, thank you so much, Andrea. So my name is Amanda. I am a program manager and admissions advisor at College Advisor, which helps students like yourself when you start to apply to colleges, really describe your experience and convey your story to admissions officers at the universities you're applying to. A little bit about myself and the journey that I went on. I'm a current graduate student at MIT studying cybersecurity. But I completed my bachelor's degree in 2020 in electrical engineering and computer science at MIT. And as I mentioned, I currently work for College Advisor as a program manager, as well as an advisor to students like yourself. And really, I think when I think about all of these great opportunities that you guys have with these different organizations who have presented today, it all comes down to the connections that you're able to make, the impact that you're able to have, and really where that could take you in the future. And if there's one thing I want to tell you guys today, it's that that was my story. I had a couple different things that I was doing in high school, volunteering and really making an impact in those organizations. And they benefited me in ways, not only because of the impact, but in ways that I never could have even imagined. Some of the doors that volunteering opened for me throughout my life was when I volunteered as a FIRST Robotics alumni to speak at the annual New York State Business Council conference. I ended up meeting one of the VPs of research of IBM, and that ended up turning into an internship offer at IBM Research. The volunteering that I had done for Society of Women Engineers in high school, as well as in college, that ended up getting me my first internship at Harris Corporation, because when I was talking with the recruiter, she also volunteered for Society of Women Engineers. And that was something that we could bond over and share our experiences together with. So that connection that you have with people that you will meet throughout your life because of the volunteering that you've done, that really can't be described how strong that is. And then one other example is in high school, I was mentoring elementary and middle school's FIRST Robotics team for girls teams. And that ended up helping me get the FIRST Robotics Raytheon scholarship in college, which ended up giving me an internship offer at Raytheon because of that scholarship. So all the reason why these volunteering activities that you guys become involved in, they will open doors for you in your future in ways that you could have not even imagined beyond the college admissions process. But if you can go to the next slide, one of the partnership that College Advisor has, can we go to the next slide? Thank you. The partnership that College Advisor has with this organization is that we help students like you bring it all together. All of the experiences that you guys have volunteering for different organizations, making an impact on people's lives. Colleges want to know about that, because at its core, when you guys are applying to colleges, you are telling them, what will you be like as a student on their campus? So they want to know that what you're passionate about, who you enjoy helping day to day. If you enjoy tutoring, they could easily see you as a tutor on their campus. If you enjoy, going out and mentoring, underprivileged communities and exposing them to STEM, they could see you doing that with some of the clubs that they have on their campus. So it all comes together when you end up applying for colleges. And that's where College Advisor comes in. So at College Advisor, we offer assistance to people in a lot of different forms. We have various different packages that you guys can purchase. And our advisors are from the top 50 ranked colleges, more than 35 of them. And some of the advisors have also had experience as admissions officers themselves at those colleges. So the advice that you will get from those advisors will be up to date and will be top of the chain when it comes to helping you guys take all of the experience that you've gotten from your volunteering and all of the academic work that you've done and combining it all together to submit your college application. And that advising is individualized and very customizable to what your story is, right? There isn't just one story that everybody can tell. Everyone's story is unique. So we help you guys piece together the different parts from your story and present it to the admissions officers of the schools that you apply to. And the program that you guys would be doing would be, we would connect you with students and alumni who are at those schools that you want to apply to. We'd help you with everything from forming up your college list of the schools that you'll apply to and making sure that you have safety targets and reach schools, to building up your resume, to planning out and drafting and completing your personal statement for the Common Application, all the way up to financial aid, scholarships, and interview prep. So all of that is the assistance that you will receive from an advisor should you choose to work with us at College Advisor. And what goes to show, how successful this program is, over 90% of our clients have gained admission to at least 3 of their top 8 schools. And there have been students who have been accepted to every single Ivy League and top ranked 50 school in the country. So if you guys are interested in working with us and really taking all the fabulous volunteering experience that you guys have had, the impact that you have made on the world, and describing that in a completed application to different colleges and universities, you can feel free to get in touch with people like me, and we will help you craft your story and bring it all together for your college application. And I think the next person is back to Amy, I believe.
It is back to me. Thank you so much, Amanda. We've had some great questions through the chat. The biggest thing is how to sign up. So I'll tell you about VolunteerCrowd plans. One of the things I wanted to emphasize is that we had about 400 plus people signing up today for the internships. And STEMi and TGR Foundation, they have quite a few internships. I'm not sure if they're going to get to the 400 mark. The good news is that we have a few hundred internships on VolunteerCrowd. So we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to find a great volunteer project, because as Amanda said, it can really be that moment that you stumble upon, that project that you stumble upon that takes you in the direction that you're supposed to go in. It can lead you to college programs you didn't know about. It can lead you to people that you network with for an internship. It can put you on the path to a scholarship. So we at VolunteerCrowd want to make sure that you have all of those opportunities available to you. And we hope that you've enjoyed learning a lot about TGR Foundation's opportunities, as well as STEMi's, because it's an example of some of the really great, rich programs that we can put you in touch with at VolunteerCrowd. So some of the questions we've had is, how do you sign up for VolunteerCrowd? Just go to volunteercrowd.com and sign up. We have 3 levels of membership. There's a free membership, and we have that just for students who need to get their 10 hours out of the way for high school. We recognize that a lot of schools have that requirement, and we want to make it volunteering accessible for all students, because who knows, maybe that might inspire you to do another 10 hours and then another and another, and who knows where that can go. Next, we have the Impact Number program. And so what that is about is really about the college resume building type of opportunities that we've talked about today. We have STEM, I will be very honest that medical has been challenging this year. We do have some opportunities and we have some good substitutes that will help you get some meaningful projects until the pandemic is lifted. But when life returns to normal, we have tons of hospital and research program internships. Also, leadership opportunities. Amanda, how often do you tell students to find leadership opportunities?
All the time. That is what will distinguish you from so many different applicants in the college process. Because as I mentioned, college admissions officers, they're looking for the next presidents of their college campus clubs. So they want to see that you are a leader and that you've had experience in high school.
And then Jose and Andrea, correct me if I'm wrong, but you both have leadership opportunities within your programs, correct? Yes. So one thing that's wonderful about VolunteerCrowd is that we've got a filter criteria. So if you're specifically looking for a volunteer internship with with an opportunity to build those leadership skills, keep in mind, you're here to learn. We have that. And then also, we know that volunteering can be really messy. All of that Googling for volunteer opportunities, all of those silly paper logs, trying to pull everything together for your college application or your resume, we take care of that headache. There's one place you go to find great projects, track them, and then if you're interested in having the verification services so that you can qualify for awards and also for, and the award specifically is the President's Volunteer Service Award. And something unique to our program is when we volunteer your hours, we ask for character strengths and skill endorsements. And the reason that is really important is now that the ACT and the SAT are optional at over 2/3 of colleges, schools need a different way to understand how you're unique, because a lot of students may have the same GPA, but you won't all have the same strengths. So what we try to do is show what your strengths are through the eyes of those you're supporting in your community. So you'll end up building a beautiful portfolio with your awards, with your strengths. And then in 2021, we are also offering our own leadership program where you'll learn leadership skills. You'll learn how to go into some of these volunteer organizations and develop those skills and become a leader for the college that you start with. And then we are also starting with office hours. So with that said, download the app, you can go to VolunteerCrowd, and now is the time where you can ask us anything. And I will let Megan field some of your questions for some of our speakers. Oh, here's one, Megan. Do you have a program for petroleum engineering? That's a great question. And that's from Chrissy. And one thing that we can do if you are an impact member or college and career advantage member is we can go and search among our contacts with our volunteer nonprofit partners and try to find something specialized. We had a student who, for example, wanted to find a research position dealing with pharmaceuticals. And we were able to find something for him even during the pandemic. Another question that I'm getting is whether or not these programs are national. You know what, Andrea, I'll let you take this first and then Jose tack onto that. Can you talk about national versus local and how that will change during the pandemic and then after it?
Yeah, definitely. So for us, all of our opportunities are currently are national and international, technically. That will continue through. The only difference might be since our events are all digitally at the moment. Once we get to a safe place where we can events again, they're still going to be digital as well, but we'll have a mix. So it'll just kind of depend. If you're nationally, you'll be able to help with our virtual and digital events. But if you're located locally, then you can also help with depending on what you're interested in. But we have both.
Okay. And Jose, how about you? What about national versus local, now versus after the pandemic?
Yeah, so at the moment, all of our volunteer opportunities are remote just because we want to make sure that we are keeping our students, staff, and volunteers safe during the pandemic. So everything is virtual. So that allows us to have nationwide volunteers. So as I mentioned before, we had volunteers recently from New York, Washington, DC, and Florida, even though we're located in Anaheim, California, which is really nice to be able to kind of open it up. We're going to continue that way until after we're back until we're back to a safe space where we can go back into the building. We haven't really decided yet how it's going to work since we have opened up classes for students in the East Coast. So depending on how our programs continue, if we're going to continue doing virtual classes to students in the East Coast or how we're going to continue after that, that can change the way that our volunteer selection base, I guess, would change. But for now, everything is nationwide. So anybody from anywhere in the country can apply for our positions.
Okay, great. Brooke has a question, and we get it often. If I volunteer for an opportunity, not on the VolunteerCrowd app, can I submit that to be certified for a Presidential Volunteer Award on my transcript? Yes. One of the things that VolunteerCrowd does is we take your school hours, we take your club hours, we take your individual hours, and we put it on one transcript. We believe that your volunteering, your impact story, and all of the volunteering contributions that you've made to your community should be pulled together in one comprehensive transcript. It would almost be like you applying for college and sending in half of your academic transcript. That would be silly. So we take all of your hours, we will verify your hours, and we will consolidate that on one transcript. Now, there are some rules about that. For example, it has to be with a nonprofit or with your school. If it's your own nonprofit, which we've seen a lot of, you do need to be a 501c3 because that's how we track and report to Points of Light. But yes, absolutely. Other questions?
There was a good question that I saw, which is, how do they find our opportunities on your website? What's the best way, and what if they can't find our opportunities? What do they suggest? Should they contact you, or how do they go through that process if they can't find what we've published on VolunteerCrowd?
Thank you, Andrea. Great question. So the first thing is following this event tomorrow, we will send you out a follow-up email with a link to the recording, and then also for all of the volunteer opportunities that Jose and Andrea reviewed. The second part of that is we have chat, and I believe I put our students at volunteercrowd.com email on the deck, but we'll go ahead and put that in chat in a second. When you get to VolunteerCrowd, you can search by cause area. You can also search by of program you want. So a cause might be STEM or education. If you're environment, you have that, health, different cause areas, community hunger, and you can look by volunteer internship. You can look at virtual volunteering if you just want to lead a supply donation drive. We've got that as well. All right, next question. Here's a question for you, Andrea. It's from Kashmiri. I'm sorry if my pronunciations aren't my strong suit. And it says, I just applied to be an ambassador for STEMi. When will I get to know if I become one? This is because my school's club chartering form is due on Sunday, and I'd like to know. So what is your timing in that to students?
Well, if we get the information quickly, then we set up a phone call. Most of these, since they are internships, if there's something small that you all want to do, day of events, one-time volunteering, things like that, we also do have those types of volunteer opportunities. Then you just sign up on our signup.com and you can move through that process. But For these more long-term internship opportunities, we like to do a 30-minute interview, and you fill out a waiver. And so just whenever we can get that phone call in and figure out, what it is that you're wanting to work up a plan. And so it can, if we set a phone call for tomorrow, we can have you ready to go. It just depends on, when we're able to get in contact with you.
Okay, we did have a question about age. And someone asked, are the opportunities for 16-year-olds? I think I saw something on Jose's slide that said that there is an age requirement. Jose, is that the requirement for these volunteer opportunities, or is that across the board?
That's actually across the board. So we do require that all volunteers be at least 16 years of age or older, just because we want to make sure, since we are working with youth and with younger students, that we understand the responsibility of what it takes to work with students of that age. For 16-year-olds, so we have two levels. So we have the 16 to 17, well, 16 and 17-year-old students. Those typically tend to be high school students. So all we ask from them is kind of seeing a transcript of their grades, making sure that that's okay, making sure that they're going to be able to kind of do the time management, because we also don't want to be kind of interfering with their schooling as well. But this also kind of helps out with it's kind of an alternative to everybody else who's 18 and older. Those applicants actually have to go through a background check. They have to make sure that they are getting fingerprinted to work with youth and students, because we want to make sure that everyone we bring into our programs has been cleared with the Department of Justice and anything that might, be a liability as well. So yeah, so the age is a requirement across the board, just to make sure that we are bringing responsible students and students are able to work with younger students for sure.
Okay, great. And just another note about age is that we do have opportunities for younger students. So even if these particular opportunities aren't available to you now because of your age, we do have STEM opportunities for younger students. And then Andrea, I just want to make sure we touch base with you and find out if there are age restrictions for your opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, usually we set that you would be in middle school or high school. So usually our youngest, I would say, is around 10, 11-ish. But, oftentimes, I mean, for instance, some of our events, we usually try to keep it to middle school and high school students, but we've had the random 4th and 5th grader come in and build a business. So it's kind of hard to set a limit on potential. So as long as the parents are involved, which they always are, and then we talk through that process about how it works with kids and things like that. So if you are interested and you're on the younger side, it would just require a conversation with your parents, and we go through that process together. But yeah, we have a brother and sister, and one's in junior high and one's in high school, and but they've been to our events as well, so they know what our program's like. So.
We also had a question about iPhone. Right now, all of the tracking and verification services are on the iPhone. We're going to come out with a web-based version in 2021, but we just have so few Android users. And so right now it is just available as an app. However, you can find all of the volunteer opportunities on the web. So the fact that you don't have an iPhone won't hold you back from that. All right, Megan, are there any questions that you typically get that you would like to put out there for the students?
I think the biggest question would be about the medical projects. So a lot of the hospitals are not allowing teen volunteers at the moment due to COVID, but there's a lot of ways you can stay involved if you are looking to go into the medical profession. So there's different projects where you can write letters to frontline workers, thanking them for their hard work and their service. You can write letters to the patients in the hospital. You can also write letters or even set up Zoom calls for seniors in different centers that are isolated due to COVID because they are high risk. Those will still be opportunities that will allow you to stick out amongst other applicants. because colleges and different advisors will be aware that 2020 was just a year that we were in the middle of a pandemic, and there's no way that hospitals are going to be able to get volunteers in the hospital due to COVID. There are some hospitals that are trickling in really slowly by converting their projects to virtual projects. So just be patient with us. We're trying to find those, but all of the hospitals are working hard to see how they can help you all, because they know that those volunteer projects were important as far as you getting some experience before you go to college. I think that's the biggest question that I get.
Yes.
I did want to add on just, for one of our opportunities, we did an in-person event in 2019, before COVID hit, and we taught our students, but also adults, because we usually like to have the parents there to learn as well. But we taught everybody how to suture. And so we're contemplating having that event again in the spring, but it would be virtual, obviously. So the parents and the families, they actually purchase the kit themselves, but we teach them virtually how to actually suture. And so if you're interested in helping us with that process, we have, not only do I know how to suture, but one interns, she is a medical high school student. She also knows how to suture. So we can also teach y'all how to suture, and then y'all can help us run those virtual events. So that's kind of how we work, is adults helping students, helping other students. So.
Okay, and I do see a question about how do we sign up. Following this event, we will send out an email with a link to all of the projects that we've talked about today. And we will have a link to those on VolunteerCrowd, and that's where you can get the details. And what I mean by details is we list everything. For example, Jose mentioned a background check is required. You'll see if training is required. You'll see if there's an age requirement. Even with some of our other programs, like right now we're specializing in virtual volunteering, but we're also doing a lot of outdoor and safe, socially distant projects, for example, working with animals or beach cleanups or marine biology. And so we have requirements like whether or not you need closed-toed shoes, or if there's a special meeting place. We want to make sure that you get all of the information you need to just dive right into volunteering. Okay, let's see. And then there's a question about the social media opportunity at STEMi, Andrea. And the person who's really interested, could you just kind of review what that opportunity is about?
Yeah, definitely. So if you're interested, definitely check out the email tomorrow and go through the process with VolunteerCrowd. You can sign up with us. So how it works is, again, we do a 30-minute interview with our students. And during that time, I really get a sense of, when working with students, what it is that you're passionate about. And we have a group of individuals who we kind of place you with, who we all kind of work together to take our students through this process. But our students right now who are doing the social media, they do short trainings, 1 hour a week with some side activities and learning about, and it's not just learning about the platforms, it's learning about the behind the scenes. Everything from assessing your target market, your customers, your stakeholders, understanding the goal, and then setting metrics, meeting metrics, data analysis for those metrics. But then also understanding what marketing is to begin with. Most people don't even know, even adults are not even quite sure what this gray box of what marketing is. So we really take you through that process, make you understand the jargon, so that you get a sense of what it's really like to work in a business in a marketing department. It's really neat because it's a mixture of creativity / science, because you're designing these posts, you're thinking about the psychology of the customers that you're really trying to push images to and trying to draw to your website. But then it's also science, because once you publish, you're testing and you're tracking and you're calculating, and then you're taking all that information, trying to figure out why did certain ads and campaigns work and why did some not work, and taking that information and troubleshooting and improving. So it's a really interesting mixture of science and art that we teach you.
Right. And we have a number of questions about just costs in general. So just to recap with VolunteerCrowd, there are a lot of volunteer opportunities that we have for free. And those are really for students who just need to get their volunteer hours. However, for the volunteer opportunities like the ones that you've seen today, if you want to get notifications of those year round and have access to those opportunities year round, we have two programs. We've got the Impact Member Program, that's $39 a year. And then we also have the College and Career Advantage Plan, that's $99 a year. And that comes with the verification services. You automatically get qualified for the President's Volunteer Service Award. You can add your own volunteer hours as well. And you get the recommendations, and you end up getting a really beautiful service transcript that you build upon real time. So again, we've got premium projects with the paid memberships. We've kind of got the fun and easy, get your hours done, and you only need a few hours for the year, and that's for all students. So I think we're coming to a close. Amanda, do you have anything to chime in about? You've heard some of these questions. What crosses your mind as you're hearing some of them?
Yeah, the biggest thing is that for those of you who are going to be wanting to aim for Ivy League schools or sort of top 20 schools, or for merit scholarships at other universities, the biggest thing that will set you apart is when colleges don't just see you taking advantage of what your school offers, but seeking out additional opportunities. That's what separates you from so many other students out there. And with all that VolunteerCrowd has to offer, now admissions officers aren't going to consider that part of your school's program because it's not part of your school's program. So all of these things that VolunteerCrowd is offering, taking advantage of them really will put you at such an advantage compared to many other students in the college admissions process. And that'll pay out in ways that, like I said, you never even are going to expect, such as admission to colleges, merit scholarships, but beyond that, internships and full-time jobs in your future. So taking advantage of it is something I would definitely recommend.
I saw a really great question come across, and that is about internships. Yes, so we offer internships for animal-related causes, and we do it in a few different areas. So there are individuals who are in career and technical education programs who are trying to become a veterinarian technician on the pathway to something like becoming a veterinarian. And so it's a wonderful way to explore that type of college or career program. And so for those individuals, they do tend to be locally based, but we specialize in placing individuals not only with just the humane societies, although those are wonderful opportunities. We find rescue organizations, we find exotic animal rescue organizations. And one of the things that we've been doing for students who are really interested in the medical field is we've been trying to place them in a lot of these animal rescue organizations, because if you can heal, if you can mend a broken wing, you can mend a broken bone. And if you can take care of an animal that's been neglected or malnourished, or maybe has some type of chronic illness, then you'll understand biology that much better. So even though the opportunities in the medical field have been limited, we've really gotten creative through research or through animal and health related causes. And just to give you guys a sense of scope, there are 1.6 million nonprofits in the United States, and there are 26 million students who are trying to find volunteer opportunities. No wonder everyone's going crazy trying to find each other. So we're really trying to be that Airbnb of volunteering, where you can just find that exact experience that's perfect for you and will give you that sense of purpose. Let's see, we've got another one. how would we be able to inquire about a specific internship if we are interested in a certain topic, such as biomedical engineering? For our impact member and our college and career advantage members, we are going to be holding office hours in 2021, where you can show up to our office hours, let us know what you're looking for. We also have chat and email, and we can help you find a specific volunteer opportunity. Chances are we may already know about something because we work with nonprofits constantly. We reach out to nonprofits every month and we tell them what we're looking for. And so that's how we're able to source some of these unique opportunities. Any other questions? Okay. Well, we really hope that you have all enjoyed this virtual event. I'd like to thank all of our speakers today, Andrea, Jose, and Amanda, and thank Megan for her help as well. We've enjoyed having all of you at the event today, and we will send you a follow-up email tomorrow. We'll make sure that you have everything you need, a listing of all of the volunteer opportunities, the links so you can find them on VolunteerCrowd. We'll have the recording of the video as well, and we'll be sure to list our contact information in case you have any other questions. You're also welcome to reach out to us at students@volunteercrowd.com. My name is Amy. We've got Megan here as well, and we really look forward to helping all of you. We wish you a really, really safe 2020. We know it's been a rough year, and we appreciate you closing out the year with us, and we can't think of anything better than helping you dream big in 2021. So thank you all for your time today. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.